Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another local business interview. My name is Arena. I am an Oregon real estate agent, and today I'm here with Aunia, who is the founder of Rise Visible. Aunia, thank you so much for joining me a second time to re-record because our first interview is gone, but I'm so excited to talk to you again.
I'm really excited to talk to you again too.
Tell us a little bit about Rise Visible. What do you guys do? How did you get started with owning your own business? Walk us through the genesis.
Sure. So the business started in a very uniquely strange way. It wasn't something that I had wanted to be doing. I wanted to either be a therapist or a surgeon. And then while I was in school and I moved also to a different state, I'm from Michigan and I moved to St. Louis. And during that transition time, I was starting a brand new job, actually as a dental assistant in an orthodontist office. And I was standing there and all of a sudden I heard someone scream. And I went into the back room and I found out that that was the day of 9/11. And as I was standing there, I was alone. I was with like 7 people I had only met for an hour. I was in a state that I wasn't in for more than, I don't even know, 30 days. So I really didn't have any sense of comfortability and I like froze. And I just looked at everybody and I said, I gotta go. Like I'm surrounded by a bunch of strangers. I gotta go. And I left and I never returned. And when I went back home, I did a little bit of stuff with the Red Cross and had a really hard time actually finding work after that. People were not really looking for braces and the whole world had shifted. So I needed to figure out what I could do to kind of take care of myself, as well as I was also dealing with a lot of health struggles at that time. And I had got a computer from a friend a couple years back and it had software on it. I mean, this is like 24 years ago, we're talking like Adobe and Dreamweaver and all of that. And I had played around with it and I built websites and I had done different things on it. I had a small portfolio, but it wasn't actually a portfolio that I thought I would be sharing. It was just like fun and enjoyable. And then at that point, I thought, well, maybe when I lost my job, maybe I could try to do this. And so I applied for a couple different places. I brought my portfolio. A good friend of mine worked in the industry and they were like, yeah, no, like, you're not that good. Like, and my heart was broken and I felt really bad and I knew it wasn't great, but I tried. And then I just decided to try to go freelance. And that's just how I got started. And that was like 24 years ago. And it was all a happy accident. And now we're sitting here today and I'm still doing what I love. And I really like it. Do I miss, do I sometimes think about being a therapist or think about, the missed moments of wanting to be a surgeon and remove cancer? For sure. But I love what I do. And I do feel that there's aspects of psychology that I get to implement into working with my clients with marketing and building brands as well. And it's a lot about communication and community too. So it fills a lot of things. Plus I like to be creative. So that's fun.
That is so awesome. It's actually really encouraging to hear how, sometimes you have to go through a lot of hurdles to find what you're really good at or what you want to be doing long term. And when we had talked previously, you said that besides Rise Visible, besides doing marketing and helping brands and companies with like their social media presence and their branding, you also have a few other endeavors that you pursue. Art was one of the main ones, but could you walk us through all of the different things that you are involved in?
Yes, I get bored easy. And I like to start things and do things. So I'm a calculated risk taker and I'm an idea machine. And I think that's what helps, with Rise Visible and doing like marketing and websites and social media and course platform building, is that it gives me that ability to go in all these different directions because I love to be challenged. I love to learn. I get bored. And along the lines of working in getting into doing what I do digitally 24 years ago, I also got into digital painting because I was very creative and I was allergic to all mediums. So I couldn't actually touch anything but pencil, and I'm a color person. So being able to work on a computer was extremely amazing. And back then, I mean, this was like 15 years ago when I really kind of dug into doing the art. Nobody was accepting digital art at the time. I mean, right now we're sitting at a time where digital art is just like exploding. We have NFTs, we have people using different software. And when I was doing it and I was trying to get into galleries or get my work seen, I was constantly having doors shut in my face. Like, this is not real art. And I used my own photography in it and did all collage aspects and did paintings and did this kind of like hybrid mixed media work that was portraiture. And over the years, I used that as an ability to kind of connect with the outside world. So I have a rare disease. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, as well as I have dysautonomia and a plethora of other lovely, wonderful things like mast cell activation disorder, which means I'm a bubble girl and I'm allergic to everything. Go me. But I was isolated, and having that ability to create art and build community and build up my Facebook page and create a sense of identity was a really large part of where I am in my art career. And I'm considered an internationally renowned artist. I show in museums and galleries. I've been a curator, a project developer in that. But that also kind of feeds back to Rise Visible, because again, that's that idea of gaining visibility, creating community, building connections. And so they both played a really large part of the success of being a digital marketer and a web designer, and then being an artist, because the art world is not easy. It's not easy to gain any sort of notoriety in it. You have to work very hard. And I feel a lot of my notoriety has played a part with my background in marketing and my background in graphic design and my background in all of these things perpetuated my career, because artists, they're creative people, you know, they're creative and they're thoughtful and they have all this energy, and they don't often think a lot about business, right? They just want to do the thing. I want to make the thing and do the thing. And somebody come find me in my basement painting, you know, like come discover me. And so I've had that ability to do that. So that's kind of what I don't look at my art and think my art's amazing. That's why I'm successful. I think my art is pretty decent. And I have this amazing background in marketing. And then the other thing that I do is having that desire to have an association with psychology, playing a role in my art, because the art that I do has a psychological bent to it. It has things to do with abuse, overcoming, dealing with illness, isolation, depression, anxiety, all of those things, as well as there is this project that I started last year called Create for Healing. And when I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos last year, so I've had 18 years of basically doctors and people telling me I was crazy, which can cause a lot of psychological damage to somebody over time, especially when your friends and your family hear these, you know, authority figures over years of time, just continually telling you you're crazy, you start to question yourself too, you know? And with that diagnosis last year, like I said, it's been 18 years of dealing with this. It really opened a lot of doors for me and an ability to create a different space, which is Create for Healing. So I decided to launch Create for Healing, and Create for Healing is a platform that takes art and creative approaches to things and pairs it with things like loss, narcissistic abuse, anxiety, identity, you know, safety. And we have a blog and we have guest writers and guest teachers. And so it's like course related and then resource related. And so we started that last year, and that's been really good. And then this year, when I stepped really strongly into my business, which was about 2 months ago, we shifted. Like I said, I got that diagnosis. There were so many changes that I was able to grow, and I'm healthier than I've been in 20 years. And so I was like, it's time to grow. Like, it's time to step up. let's go ahead and rebrand. Let's change our name. We changed it to Rise Visible because our other name was a little bit difficult to say. And my name is already hard to say. So I'm like, I don't want to give any more difficult things to say to people. But it was a good change. I needed to kind of strip down what I had been doing over the last 24 years and really reinvent who we were. So we did that. And in that moment, I also stepped into owning that I'm a disabled business owner. As a person who is a woman in tech, which is already challenging, I never wanted to share that vulnerability with people. I already felt vulnerable being a female in tech. And so now it's like, yes, and I'm a disabled business owner, because people who are often entrepreneurs, a lot of people who do that have illnesses. Not everybody, but it gives people the ability to work through their day and plan it without having to be completely responsible to show up to a 9-to-5 job, which is unrealistic for me, right? Mm-hmm. Part of the reason why this started 24 years ago, was that ability to make my own schedule and work with the flows of my life. And so while researching different things and getting certifications and different things for being disabled, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of stuff in Oregon. Mm-hmm. And if there was these pieces like a grant over here or an article over here or something. And so I decided to launch the Oregon Disabled Business Owners Association, which is just a directory of self-identified disabled business owners, as well as a resource list that gives information. Because right now we're having large conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And one of the groups that are not being discussed enough are those with disabilities. And it is the largest marginalized group in the world, in the United States. And that's because it doesn't shy away from age. It doesn't shy away from race or demographics or anything. It affects everybody. And so that's the other thing. That was while I was resting. My partner's like, take a break. And I'm not a big rester. And I was laying there and I was just resting. And I like look up and I go, there's not enough resources for to say. He's like, go to sleep. Stop thinking.
Oh man, no, I love that you had it on your heart to do that. And I also love that everything that you're involved in is so intertwined, and that you feel now that you're able to be vulnerable in all of these different things, because I think that it really shows how genuine all of your aspirations are, and it shows the heart behind your business. Aww. Which I think makes it really, really amazing and easy to relate, because you're such an open person, and I love that. But I remember before when we talked, you had mentioned that for a long time you were in survival mode, not knowing what was going on with your health, not knowing what you would do for a living, because it was hard to accommodate, like you said, a typical 9-to-5 job. And there was just all of this unknown. And then finally last year, it was like, you moved from surviving to thriving, and finally having some clarity in regards to your health and being able to move forward into a growth phase of your business. Mm-hmm. I love to hear that. And I'd love to hear more about how Rise Visible has been growing. And if you have a client story that you're willing to share, a success story of how you were able to help a brand or a company, that would be really awesome to hear.
Aw, thanks for saying all that. It's really affirming. It feels good to be in this space. I think being in survival mode for so long, you just get used to that. It's just one of those moments in life where you kind of just resolve to like, this is just what it is, and this is where your life is going to be. And by looking at other people around you and seeing them thriving, or having babies, or their companies are growing, or they're traveling outside the country, or whatever the case may be, not necessarily during COVID, but, in general, it's that, resolutive, like knowing that in this moment, I'm really lucky, and it makes me almost want to cry. And not a lot of people get this opportunity, right? To kind of like come back. There's plenty of people that deal with disabilities and progressive things that will never have an opportunity to kind of like rise and have a better moment, right? They'll just continue to be in survival or continue to do what they can to live the best life they can. And being in this, it feels that with this moment of being able to be there, I don't know if a year from now I'll be there. I don't know if 2 years from now, because my life is fleeting. I don't know. Everybody's life is fleeting. It is. It just is. But I don't know where I'll be. So in this moment, it feels extremely important for me to speak out about it, to try to bring awareness to it, to try to, encourage people to be okay with that, because I just don't know from moment to moment in my life. Some of the really great things that we have had happen in a pretty short period of time is we became a top ranking woman owned digital agency of 2022 on Clutch, which is really just an amazing site. We've really pushed our Google reviews. We really didn't do that very much. And now we're up to like 25-star reviews. Wow. And we are now certified as a woman-owned and disabled-owned business owner. I am, us in the thing. I do have other people that work with me. It's not just me. That's one of the other things, is that we grew. My partner became a part of my team, and I have 2 other wonderful contractors that work with me now. We're also looking to be certified through DOBE, which is a really big certification for those with disabilities. They also do that for people that are vets, which is really great. And it opens us up to more contracts and abilities to get more work based on people looking to employ people that are disabled or are going through things like being a vet. And then the other thing that was really awesome is being able to just like work with clients over the years and see their growth alongside our growth. So for us, over, numerous years, it's been this like low grade amount of money. It's been this, most people would be like, oh, that's great. You can live on like 20,000 a year. Well, that's like what we made. And then once you remove our expenses, there wasn't a lot going on. There wasn't a lot going on. I mean, digital agencies don't have a ton of overhead, but still there wasn't a lot. And this year we are on the road to hitting perhaps 100,000. So that's where we are. In our second quarter here, we've hit 50,000. So that's my goal for the year. And I mean, it's a huge deal. Client-wise, we launched a really beautiful educational platform with Coachella Glassworks. He is an artist, and he does this beautiful glass that's layered, and then he paints underneath it with some type of enamel. And his work is just beautiful. And now he's created a 4-course master class. And we went ahead and I did a lot of the video editing. I helped with all the production of getting out all the marketing aspects of it, the campaigns. And once we got through like 4 months of getting it all done and put it out there, the amount of money that he brought in was exponential. Of course, as a client of mine, I don't want to disclose income, but we were blown away. And then he also launched with me a secondary business that goes in association with that, which is a Shopify store. And that has all the products. So they have the glass and the enamel and all the things that, somebody would need to take that class. And then that as well being marketed has just, he really makes a living off of it. And that's just where he's at. So, and he doesn't need to, which is great because he's like retired and, he doesn't. But I mean, this is just like great income. And then we work with an HR company that is out in Pittsburgh. And when I started with her 3 years ago, she was a 1-woman show. And now she's like, I think we're up to like 7 of us now. So there's 7 of us. And we just launched a huge product called Harmony in a Box. This amazing product that has all these modules. It's do it yourself. It's got videos. It's got documents. It teaches you how to do things like firing and hiring so you don't get sued. Helps you build a company culture that's really really just rich and supportive. And there's so many other aspects of that. So we jumped into that towards the end of last year and launched that. I think it was February of this year. And it's just been an amazing process. The success of it has been just wonderful. And the growth of the company overall over the last couple of years is just, it's been just exceptional to be able to be a part of that. So I also help them with social media. I do their websites. I build the background. The Harmony in a Box is all course. So it's a learning management system on the back end that's coded on their website. So they have total control and they're not paying a monthly fee like Teachable or Learn Worlds. And then, you know, we do newsletters each month and we have amazing articles to help people. And so those are the two, I think, probably most amazing wins that happened this year, and just enjoyed being a part of it.
That is so cool. I love hearing stories like that, because a lot of the times as like a small business owner, it's tough to take that step to invest in your business and get extra help with your marketing and your branding and your outreach. You feel like, oh, you know what? Like, I'll wear all the hats. I'll do everything. I'll save money where I can. And then you put yourself in this mindset where you're kind of stuck at a certain level and you can't go past that because you're only one person. There's only so much you can do. And when businesses finally take that step to working with someone like you, with an agency like yours, and they see how that investment has brought them so much more than they could have ever dreamed of, it's like, wow, I should have been doing this a lot earlier. So that is really great to hear. I'd love to put some links on the screen and in the description below of where people can find you. I know you've got a few different Instagram accounts. You've got your website. What are all the places that people can find out more?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So risevisible.com is a digital marketing agency. Of course, if you put Rise Visible in, you can find that handle on every social media. And we obviously live on all the socials. And then if you wanted to see my art, it's just my name, Aunia KAHN. And again, if you Google me, you'll find me. I'm easy to kind of locate. And then Create for Healing. It's just Create for Healing. We do have some social media presence, but we did take a break recently for a couple months to redo our schedule for upcoming courses. So we're just getting back on that again. And then Oregon Disabled Business Owners Association is odboa.com. And then you just find me. If you Google the things, you'll find the things.
And I can attest to that because I've Googled and I found all your social media accounts and followed you everywhere. So very easy to find you and the business. So I'll definitely make sure to share that. But thank you so much for doing this with me, for doing round 2.
Of course.
I love talking to you. I love hearing about your journey, and I'm excited for people to see this interview as well.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity and time to spend time with you again.
Absolutely. And thank you so much to all of you for watching. Make sure to tune in next time for the next local business interview. Until then, bye.
Bye.